Hi guys, are you ready to finish Eerie Elementary? This school is alive because that's what we're doing today. All right, we are on chapter 13. That's right. Oh my goodness. Lucy and Antonio were in quite the predicament when we left off last time. The school is trying to eat them alive. Chapter 13 is called Worm Mouth. Worm Mouth. Swish! The big red curtains swooshed shut. The audience gasped. They could no longer see the stage. A closet door banged open behind Sam. Then the floorboards lifted up to form a slide. Miss Gringer and the other students tumbled backward into the closet. From off stage, Mr. Nakobe yelled, "Sam, it's happening!" He ran towards Sam, but the curtain ropes grabbed hold of him. The ropes flung Mr. Nakobe inside the closet too. The door snapped shut. Next, the lights went out. Only one spotlight stayed on. It was pointed at Sam, Lucy, and Antonio. The audience can't see the stage, and the teachers and students are trapped in the closet. Sam thought, I'm the only one who can save everyone. The chair mouth began to climb up out of its hole in the ground, like a worm coming up out of the ground. Oh my goodness, how creepy. Oh, it looks like insect pincers. Lucy and Antonio began kicking and screaming. What is that? Lucy yelled. Antonio thrashed on his wire, trying to get away from the huge teeth. As he swung, his lucky peanut butter and jelly sandwich slipped from his pocket. It fell down into the giant mouth. The sandwich splattered against the chair teeth. Sam got an idea. I'll be back, he shouted up to his friends. Don't leave us, Sam, Lucy cried. She was fiddling with her wire, trying to untie herself. Just trust me, Sam said. He leapt over the giant mouth. Everyone in the audience gasped as Sam jumped out from behind the closed curtain. He sprinted out of the dark auditorium and into the hallway. What do you think Sam's plan is? What did that peanut butter sandwich make him think about? When Sam reached the end of the hall, he pushed open the lunchroom door. It was quiet and dark, but as soon as Sam stepped inside, the lunchroom came alive. The chairs shook, the long tables buckled up and down, and the ceiling lamps swung. A deep moaning sound came from a speaker on the wall. It said, "Morg." Eerie Elementary was howling. Sam needed to get into the kitchen, but every step he took seemed to make the school angrier. Packages of cookies exploded. Tables flipped over. Light bulbs above his head shattered. Suddenly, the vending machine began firing bottles of water at him. One blasted Sam in the chest, knocking him onto his back. Ouch. I'll never make it all the way to the kitchen, he thought, unless... Good thing Sam is thinking so quickly on his feet. Sam thought back to his training. He remembered Antonio telling him what to use around him. Sam leapt to his feet, grabbed an orange lunch tray, and held it over his chest. He hopped up on a table and sprinted down the length of it. As he charged toward the kitchen, the vending machine fired more water bottles at him. Excuse me, that came out of nowhere. The bottles bounced off of his shield. Sam jumped off the end of the table, hit the ground, and rolled into the kitchen. Then he saw it, the one thing that could save his friends. What is it going to be? What do you think? Ooh. Chapter 14. Eat this. Sam stared up at a giant drum of peanut butter. It was stacked high atop a table full of food supplies. He shook the table, then jumped back. Jars of secret sauce and cans of soup crashed onto the ground, along with the peanut butter drum. That is huge. That would be so heavy. You see it? Well, it's as big as him. Sam rolled the drum out through the lunchroom door. He gave it a heavy push. It barreled down the hall, clearing a path. Pow! The drum knocked a monstrous chair out of the way. Boom! The drum set sent a spinning trash can flying. Clam! 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 The drum blasted through a set of locker doors. The peanut butter drum crushed everything in its way. At last, Sam made it backstage with the drum. Lucy ran toward him. Lucy! Sam yelled. How'd you get down? I was able to untie myself, but I couldn't reach Antonio. He's still stuck and... Uh-oh. I hope it's not because he lost his lucky sandwich. Sam pushed the drum toward the stage and looked up. The mouth had grown even larger. It was now made of hundreds of folding chairs that together formed 100 teeth. 2 of the teeth had hold of Antonio's green pants. Any second now, he would be eaten alive. Help! Yelled Antonio. Sam, what can we do? Asked Lucy. Follow my lead, Sam said. The mouth was about to chomp into Antonio. Just then, Sam shouted, Hey, Eerie Elementary, are you hungry? The monstrous chair mouth turned away from Antonio. It faced Sam and Lucy and let out a growl. Roar! Sam and Lucy didn't flinch. They stood perfectly still. The mouth opened wider. Ooh, this picture is so scary. Whoa. I can just feel that roar shaking the ground. Lucy grabbed hold of Sam's arm. Sam held his breath. As the giant mouth charged toward them, the stage floorboards were breaking apart. Sam stared into the center of the chomping, thrashing mouth. It was upon them. Now! Sam screamed. Together, Sam and Lucy kicked the heavy peanut butter drum as hard as they could. It bowled across the stage, right into the giant mouth. The teeth chomped down on the drum. And what happens when you eat peanut butter? Those of you who are able to, what's going to happen to the school's mouth? I know what happens to Stella when she eats peanut butter. Oh my, kaboom! The drum burst open and gallons of peanut butter flew everywhere. The peanut butter was gumming up the monster's mouth. The chewing slowed, then stopped. Lucy and Sam bumped fists. You did it! Antonio shouted from up high. I couldn't have done it without you two, said Sam, smiling. The sticky mouth slipped back down through the trap door. The trap door closed. The floor returned to normal. It was over. Eerie Elementary was silent. Then, all of a sudden, the stage curtains swooshed back open. I hope Mr. Nakobe's okay. Chapter 15 and the final chapter of our chapter book. Sam Graves, hall monitor. The lights came on. The closet door opened. Ms. Grinker, Mr. Nakobe, and the students stumbled out. For a moment, everyone was quiet. The audience looked around, confused. Ms. Grinker walked out on stage. Let's have a hand for the kids. That play was amazing, she said. Sam's mom started clapping. Wonderful job, Sam, she yelled. Soon, everyone was clapping. No one had any idea what had just happened. Lucy helped Antonio down from his wire. Then she whispered to Sam, now what? Sam smiled. Now we take our bow. Backstage, the students were changing out of their costumes. Mr. Nakobe took Sam aside. You did well tonight, Sam Graves, he said. Everyone here is in good hands. Then he walked away. Sam ran over to his friends. He burst out, I told you guys the school was alive. Now do you believe me? Antonio and Lucy were talking so fast that Sam could hardly understand them. He laughed and said, guys, relax. I'll tell you everything. And he did. As they were waiting out front for their parents, Sam told his friends everything there was to tell about Eerie Elementary. The school cast long shadows lit by the moon. 2 large windows were open, and inside 2 lights burned like eyes, watching the 3 best friends. Sam reached into his backpack. He felt the hall monitor sash that just a few days earlier he had been embarrassed to wear. Now he had a sudden urge to put it on. He knew it wouldn't be long before Eerie Elementary would strike again. And what's cool here is that there is a page with portraits of the author and illustrator of this book. I'm not going to take the time to read this, but if you would like to, you can pause the screen here and you can read it yourself. This is the first book, I believe, in a series of Eerie Elementary books. So if you enjoyed this story, if you enjoy a little bit of a creepier children's chapter book, I would recommend this series. I believe the next story in the series is called The Locker Ate Lucy. Oh man, poor Lucy. And then another book in the series is called Recess is a Jungle. So again, check those out if you enjoyed this story. And I hope that you guys are having a great day. I hope that you return with me next week where I will again begin reading some more picture books, including a recommendation from one of my former families. And I again hope that you enjoy the rest of your summer. Come and stop by room 117. Yes, 117. I just moved 1 classroom over to where my classroom was last year. If you still are attending South Elementary School, I would love to see you. Come and say hi. Come get a hug if you'd like. Just wave, whatever you're comfortable with. Miss you guys, and I will see you in just a few short weeks. Crazy. All right. Have a great day. Love you all. Bye.